welcome back everybody to another edition of Salute to Industries. And this is I guess a childhood favorite of mine. I grew up with John Deere tractors and everything like that. So, I mean, what kid probably didn't? And I should probably go out and get one for my daughter here for Christmas. But today we're featuring John Deere, and everybody knows the name and the brand. But let's do a little bit of a dive into the world of John Deere in the industry. And today we have David O and David B. we go by. So, but David Bostic and David Ottavianelli.
Good job.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So, let's start with, it's a famous company. A lot of people know about it, but some people might not, right? The younger generations might not. Who knows what people know these days? But before we get into the industry and, we'll explore a little bit about what's happening economically and everything, can either David feel this? I don't know who's more for, who's this for, but can somebody talk us through, who is John Deere, the industry, and, what are you guys hiring for these days? Let's start there.
Yeah, you bet, Don. Thank you so much, first off, to hosting us to get this word out about our company. We're very grateful for this. And, thank you to all the service members and families that are out there for what you do every day. And we thank you from John Deere and all the service members in our company and all our company members. So as everyone, heard about John Deere, we're a U.S.-based, worldwide manufacturing company, a leader in agricultural turf, construction, and forestry equipment. And it's all based upon, really, the focus is on the customer here in what we're doing. Why we're doing this, we feel that this is one way for us to have a sense of purpose and giving back to our veterans and the service that they have done to our nation. And we understand also that the transition can be difficult, right? And helping through a number of different ways. And this is just one way that we're going to talk about this, in addition to mentorships and other areas, initiatives to do that. And we feel it's a win on three fronts. One, for the service member, for us as a company to gain talent, and also our communities, our local communities. What we're looking at today is a wide range of opportunities that's available throughout the country for folks to consider. First and foremost, the area of greatest opportunity are dealer technicians at our dealerships. There's over approximately 2,000 dealerships across the United States, located in every state, where we have opportunities for those dealer tech positions to help support the maintenance of our equipment and our customers in the field. The second area are in our manufacturing operations. So there's approximately 18 large manufacturing sites in the country that we're looking for production type of roles and support from technicians, assemblers, welders, mechanics, maintenance and skilled trades personnel, etc. Majority of those are located in the Midwest.
Yeah, I was going to ask you kind of location of that stuff, but yeah, 18 plants. Wow, you guys have got a big operation going on.
Yeah, and then the final area is salary and management folks to support those roles, both on the dealer side and in the factory side. So major locations for our facilities: Waterloo, Iowa; the Quad Cities here, Moline, Illinois; Dubuque, Iowa. We have factories in Augusta, Georgia, in North Carolina, and then also in Thibodaux, Louisiana, right? To be example. So a wide range of locations to consider.
Yeah, a lot of different areas, a lot of different economies. Each of those states are different and supported differently. So this will be interesting to our audience, which a lot of National Guard, a lot of reservists, we deal with too, besides the transitioning soldiers and military spouses. So this will be interesting for them, So, but logistic wise, are you guys working from home these days? I mean, how are you guys as a corporation with the pandemic and everything that's going on for the main part?
Yeah, so it's a combination of both. We're deemed essential, right, to help farmers continue the essential processes of providing food to our nation. Yeah. So our factories are working. We've been working through the entire pandemic, and we're continuing to build our products to help support customers.
Well, and for those who are watching, it's December 11th, so pre-Georgia election. post presidential election. And right now they just started vaccine rollouts in the UK yesterday. So that's new for anybody who's watching as a context of time. So, but interesting to know that you guys went all the way through the pandemic. I'm sure that wasn't easy for everybody out there. So good on you guys. Well, let's talk about a little bit here about one, why work with John Deere? Like, why do you love doing what you guys do? Why would somebody want to come there? What's the culture like? You know, a little bit about that stuff. People like to understand, if you guys can expand a little bit.
Yeah, Don, I'll take that one again here. We feel there's a great match and a transition for what you're doing in your military life to working at John Deere. First and foremost, a higher sense of purpose. We're helping those farmers, those construction workers, you know, feed the world and build infrastructure and clothe the world. So a great sense of purpose that's involved in our company and what we do. There's also this team-based environment that is focused on serving the customer. It's incredible to see the high levels of collaboration in doing this. Also, another thing is a constant need for continuous improvement. How do we make things better? And making those improvements and doing that. Another area that's attractive to veterans, and it's great opportunities for growth, right? If you come in a certain thing, doesn't mean you have to stay there. We're willing to train our employees, give them different opportunities in various locations across not only the U.S., but even potentially the world. And then finally, just a market leader when it comes to paying benefits and attracting folks.
People love to hear that. That's right. I'm suspecting this is the case, but you can tell me a little bit about this. The stickiness with people that work there, is it people are there for some period of time? You know, I would take it. You know, do you see a big trend, like a rolling transition of people? Most people, the younger generations, leave jobs every couple of years these days, but older generations, you know, I'm in my 40s, we tend to stick, you know, at places longer. What's it like there at your company? Because the upward mobility, the benefits, you know, are people staying around longer? Do you find?
Yes, sir. Generally, yes. Of course, there's different situations, but it's a company that, once again, given those growth opportunities and the challenges that you see every day, folks find it very attractive to stay.
Well, it's great to have the training piece. And we're trying to get David B a question here. What can we ask this guy? But let me talk about this real quick, because before let's dive in a little bit about the Skills Bridge program, because we talked about the training and development. Can you guys expand upon what that is? Because that's with the Department of Defense. Is that Army specific? I can't remember that being a part of the Marine Corps.
I could take this one. So there's two programs. There's Skill Bridge and there's Career Skills Program. Career Skills Program is the Army. That's the program that they have with the Army. Skill Bridge is for everybody else, all the other branches of the service. They're essentially they're exactly the same thing. They just go by different names. Right. That is a DoD program. Both of them are, and what they basically do is they provide for up to a 6-month internship for transitioning service members to go work in private industry for the last 6 months of their contract. And it's good for the employers. It's good for the industry, because during those 6 months, it's considered an unpaid internship. They don't have to pay the candidates that are working for them because they're still collecting a paycheck from the government. Okay.
Yeah.
And that in a nutshell is the program. So what we at John Deere do is we supplement that program with our own benefits. Okay. The first and foremost is job placement assistance. So candidates can reach out to me and we ask them some basic questions about their service, when they're going to be available for an internship and where they want to relocate to and what type of job they're looking for. And what I do at that point in time is I look at where they want to relocate to, and I look for dealers that are in that area. And I give that candidate's information, a resume if they provide me with one, to those dealers, and I let the candidate know who those dealers are, and I give them their contact information. So I kind of act as a middleman trying to get that relationship set up. We also provide the candidate with free training. That's the other program that we supplement Skill Bridge and CSP with. That, you know, pretty much as soon as a candidate reaches out and contacts us, we get them set up with free web-based training. 100% free, no obligation. It's entirely self-placed, but there are 31 classes on core competencies, electrical, hydraulic, engines. There's a couple more out there. And, we do that for the candidate to get them some good training. It also gives them something to talk about during an interview with the dealership. To be able to say, hey, I'm already taking the John Deere training curriculum and these are my scores. Dealerships really like to see candidates that get engaged with the training early on. So it's a win for both of them. We also continue that free education. I can talk about this a little bit later, kind of getting off into the weeds here, but we also continue that free education after the internship if they get hired on by the dealership. The other thing we do for interns is we realize a lot of them coming out of the service don't have, especially if they're looking for technician jobs.
Right.
Not very many of these candidates have large tool collections. And all the way most of, I should say all of our dealers, haven't been to every single one of them, but I think they're all set up this way to where
2,000 of them, David. You haven't been to all of them yet?
I've been to maybe half of them. I'm not all the way there yet, but you have to provide your own tools. All right. It's not like in the military where, each shop has its own, you're issued a set of tools or the shop has tools. When you're working in private industry, in most cases, you have to bring your tools with you. And that's just an added expense that a service member is going to have to deal with as they transition out of the military. Well, we try and help that out with tool discounts. John Deere, we have our own branded hand tools and toolboxes, and we discount those pretty significantly for candidates in the program throughout their internship, and they can take advantage of that early on in their career too if they get hired directly. Because another thing I want to point out is because the SkillBridge program is a DoD program. Right. Remember, SkillBridge and CSP is only applicable to active duty service members. Okay, yeah, right. Now, the three things that I talked about, the job placement, the training, and the tool discounts, since those are our supplemental programs, we open those up to everybody. So National Guardsmen, reservists. What's that?
Even military. We always ask about the military spouses. Oftentimes they get looked over or not looked over, but we want to make sure we're asking for their behalf.
We don't have that for spouses yet. It's something that, as it gets asked to us more and more, it's something that we're looking into. But for right now, it's just the service member themselves.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and that's reservists, National Guardsmen, and certain qualifying veterans.
What's the qualifications?
So there's no limit on the time that you served. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to a guy who got out of the Army in 1976. So, trying to get him in touch with a dealer. What we limit it on is their exposure to John Deere. Okay, we want them to claim their benefits within the first 30 days of being hired by a dealership, and we want to make sure that they're first-time dealership employees. Okay, not a dealership technician that's moving from one location or one organization to the next. We want them to be brand new to the John Deere dealer organization network, and that's really it. That's really it. Yeah.
Hey, Don, when it comes to spouses, so one of the other paths that when we get connections like this, we tell the service members and their families to go to johndeerecareers.com, and you can see a number of different positions.
I'm going to ask you that. Yes.
Yeah. So in addition to these formal kind of reviews that we're seeing, those are opportunities that are out there today on a number of different fronts. And it covers all the different links in programs that Dave had talked about. So that career site will offer, full opportunities across for all potential candidates.
I've got jobs.deere.com. Is that what we're talking about?
John Deere, go to John Deere Careers. Just type in John Deere Careers.
Yeah, let's take that one down. Well, that leads me to my next question. So you kind of beat me to the punches where somebody would go to connect with you, but we'll make sure that in the descriptions when we push this out on social media in our email list that we're pointing people to John Deere Careers. Okay. But that was my last question for you guys, really, as a roundup, where they can go. So essentially, John Deere Careers is we're going to steer people. I think it's very, very enlightening. Is there anything that we're not touching on industry-wise? Well, last question, since we're in this pandemic, coming out of this pandemic, how are you guys poised right now? Are you actively hiring? Is that something that's actively going on, being December, going into 2021? What's that looking like for you guys at this moment as a company?
For our dealership networks, they're actively hiring. The primary need right now is technicians, guys working in the shops.
Right.
But there's also positions available throughout the dealership organizations: parts, logistics, trucking, sales, IT, you name it. They're not as prevalent, though, as the need for technicians. Almost every single dealership location out there is looking for technicians. So the best advice I can give somebody, even if you don't want to be a mechanic, is to just let us know. The best we can do is just get you in contact with the dealer and see what openings they have available that matches your skill set.
Yeah, it's site specific, right? So wherever somebody's located at, it's like what's out there. That's pretty basic stuff in the job world, right? So, but I appreciate you guys' time. If you guys got any, let's hear from you, David.
Here's some advice that we tell folks: is go to that DoD skill bridge, find the John Deere dot on the map as a business partner, and send an inquiry in and see where it goes. So between Dave and myself and our teams here, we'll see if there's a match and go from there. There's also some other means to do that, right? The ACP program that's on that John Deere Careers homepage, and then also production and mid-career hires is also there. So a number of different links and resources for folks. And we also partner with a number of organizations. We have a large amount of facilities in Iowa. So for instance, Home Base Iowa, in the team there helps support the transition of military members and also getting their resumes out. Could be another avenue for folks that are interested to look at.
Well, and also working with us, we're a strategic partner in that sense as well. Yes, driving people through the chains, and I think a lot of things are very geographically located, right? Like, or I want to be in a certain location, so that's how we drill into it with somebody. It's like not really kind of what do you want to be when you grow up. It's like, all right, where do you want to go, and like let's find out what opportunities are there in that area, and then start picking at that from there. So, any last thoughts for us as we wind down here? Any last comments?
If you want to learn more about the dealership opportunities, you can go to www.deere.com/military CSP. We have some information and some promotional videos out there that you can learn more about the program. And at the bottom of the webpage is a contact card that I was talking about earlier that you fill out. And then I use that information to try and get you placed on with the dealership. If you have any more questions, you can ask them to me directly by sending them to militarycsp@johndeere.com.
I'm typing it up so people can see it on the screen. Some people need to see it visually, but let's do this. I'm going to add this to it. So that's militarycsp@johndeere.com. You'll get David. It's Bostic.
Bostic, yep.
Bostic, okay. But let's do this. I'm going to stick around with you guys here for a second. We're going to, as a wrap here, we do appreciate you guys coming on in John Deere and representing the company. I think it's good for people to actually learn about this stuff, because they don't really know what companies do oftentimes, or the span of jobs that are included inside of a major company like you guys. I mean, you've been around for forever, right? Almost. I mean, you kind of like plowed America. You provided, the whole industry's grown up with you guys. So we appreciate you guys taking the time to educate us and our audience. But let's do a wrap here and then stick around for a second because I want to get some information from you guys. So
okay.
I'm going to